because there is no ball socket here. This front quarter, as you can see, is completely dislocatable. It's all complete, there's no ball socket there at all. Right? Very small. The German hair will get up closer to 40 or 50 pounds, and you can feed some people with that. It's very small.
50-pound rabbit.
40 or 50-pound German hares. It's one of the really smart solutions for our food sourcing issues in this world.
Is it tender?
It is. Young, too. We were talking less than 6 months old.
How big do they get?
I feed them. Well, like nuclear waste. All right. Fabrication. Really, really simple. You're pulling off, giving some separation, putting the knife up against the carcass. Right straight through, nothing in the way. You will only do one side, I'm doing both. Pull that thing up there so you can get a good little separation.
You're not going to do a airline cut on it? Yeah.
No, there's no breasts to speak. Alright, so now, hind quarter. The gross noise. Hyperextend both joints. Now, and this is important, there is a propeller-shaped pelvic bone that you have to find, right? Both ends of it, and there is a little ridge above it. When I have this thing completely hyperextended there, I can see the line of it. I can feel it. I want to go on the outside of that, up against the rabbit, leaving the pelvic bone, that propeller-shaped bone, with the leg and thigh, not with the carcass. Ensure that you are on the inside, and then slice right through. There's nothing in the way. Very, very simple and straightforward. Make sure that I can feel it, get on the inside of it.
And you missed.
And I caught it with the blade. Okay, so far so good. Now, I want to turn this over, and I can get to that kind of blade-shaped bone. I'll cut that little piece of bone. Let's make sure that's gone. And I'm doing this kind of needle and thread technique. I want to find that little bitty bone, and I'm just going to go underneath it on this side, underneath it on that side, just to be able to release it from the thigh muscle. Turn this over and do the same thing on the other side. It's at a little bit different angle there, but it's still nonetheless sort of shaped like a little propeller, like you'd have in one of those kids' bath toys, that you wind the rubber band up. You get to do the same sort of thing with this. When you go to get this off, once you've released it there, you just spin it. That's like winding up the little propeller. You can set it down in the tub and it just goes. Off this thing comes. And so now you have meat that goes past the end of the hip of the bone. Right here is where the end of that thigh bone is. So now on my presentation, I've got something that extends past the bone. It's a very nice, clean little presentation there. Okay? Let's remove that propeller bone off of this one. I don't believe it's actually called the propeller bone, but it is shaped like one, so I call it that in my little world here. It might more accurately be termed an H-bone.
Do you serve rabbit a lot in the industry, Chef?
Yeah, I put it on just about every menu that I can. I really like it. I think it's fantastic lean meat. I love its flavor. You can braise the forequarters and make rillettes and little pâtés and things with them. They're about the same size as a chicken wing, and so you can do kind of all sorts of fun things with those that you might do similarly with poultry wings. And the combination of braised leg and thigh and seared loin is fantastic. That was one of my favorite dishes. Get that propeller wound up. Nice and clean for presentation there. You're going to keep one of these This, it's up to you guys if you want to keep it and cook it in your braise. You won't serve this piece, but you're more than welcome to cook it and eat it. Now let's look at removing the back strap. This is so small, my tenderloin inside of here is not even worth the time to get off of here. Right? Woo. Alright. But when I come back over to this side, I want to flatten my rib cage, and you can see this ridge that runs right down the middle. I'm going to cut on either side of it for each of my applications here. I'm going to cut right down one side for the tenderloin on that side until I can hear the ribs all the way down. Cut on this side until I can hear the ribs the entire length of it, going all the way up towards the neck here. You hear that? Yeah. Okay, we'll do it on the other side here, all the way down. Now, the cross section, if I'm looking this way of these vertebrae, there's three kind of knobs. There's a little bit of an undercut. You know what noodling is when you reach under the bank to get the catfish? Yeah. Kind of keep that in mind. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this loin away from here and expose the tendons. See all the little tendons that are attached to each little knob of that? And I'm undercutting. As I pull this out, I'm cutting back underneath those little knobs that flare out just a little bit. Stretch this out so you can get back underneath that little ridge of bones until I can feel the vertebrae again. I want to feel all the ribs.
Can you pick that up so we can see?
Ooh.
Okay, if I'm peeling this off here, you see how that exposes those tendons? I want to cut back underneath so that I can get inside of there, and then the rest of this fabrication is done with the thumb. It just rolls right off the membrane.
Nice.
Okay? Try that on the other side here.
Oh, that's it.
That was it. That's not hard, is it?
No, I was talking about the eagle.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a small bunny.
Tiny.
So we like to call this day Elmer's Revenge.
Wabbit season.
Okay, all the way down to the ribs. That thumb in there, and it just gets this nice, simple little peel. Stock. For the tenderloins here, loins, you have a little bit of that chain you can separate here. I want to get that silver skin off. I will lay that right on the edge of my board, get that chain to lay flat, and then I can treat this just like that little needle and thread coming through. Get a hold of it back the other way, a little bit of down pressure, slides right off. Now you have a lovely bracelet.
How would you usually serve that? I mean, would you wrap it or roll it?
I'm going to sear it in some fat for about 4 seconds. Really hot fat so that it gets a quick browning, and then it's medium rare on the inside. Very, very tender. You'll see that stuff's tender enough. I can butcher it with my thumb. This thing has no resistance whatsoever. Very tender stuff.
Valentine's Day is Tuesday. Can I have that other bracelet?
Who?
I said Valentine's Day is Tuesday. Can I have that other bracelet?
Valentine's Day is Tuesday? Yeah.
Planning ahead, I see.
Yeah.
Chef, you need to teach us like a major panty dropper dish for Valentine's Day.
He's doing that right now.
I just make a steak.
Two rabbit.
Make sure the checkbook says full.
Make sure it says what?
Full. Chef, we've got a question over here. Is rabbit expensive?
Yes, it is relatively expensive.
What would it cost to buy that rabbit at Central Market?
Like 20, 22 bucks.
For that size?
Yeah.
It's like a price per
But you gotta understand that